What's up, chums? Sharky here, and welcome back to the Shark Bites podcast.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about shitty jobs, but first we're going to small talk for a little bit. How was your
So how
day?
are you?
You first.
I'm alive.
You say that every time.
Nuh-uh, I haven't said at least the past two.
I'll have to verify that later.
Yesterday was a terrible day, but today's somewhat better.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't feel like bashing my head through a wall today.
Yesterday was odd. It was just a weird day.
I hated my life and I hated everything yesterday.
Yesterday was Tuesday,
Yay.
right?
Yes.
I'm all off on my days.
I keep thinking today is Monday.
Yeah, it has that vibe. It's got a Monday vibe.
It's been storming off and on here, and now it's just sunny, and I hate it.
We're about to get some too. I think we're supposed to have thunderstorms next week.
I'm hoping it storms more this week.
We need rain. It's so dry here.
One of the many reasons why Texas sucks.
It's drier than my elbows, which they're pretty dry, so um well, I was going to tell you I had a very good day today.
That's good.
Um one of my coworkers, she's kind of like the second in command boss, I guess, but like I just refer to her as a coworker. Um,
Mhm.
she bought me lunch like unexpectedly today.
Hmm.
It's only my third day there, and she was like, "Oh hey Kate, by the way, I'm buying you lunch." And I was like, okay." I had brought my lunch. It was just like a sandwich that I had made at home.
Mhm.
And she got me like 3 tacos and like a bag of chips with queso
Nice.
from this like taco place down the road, and I was like, "You didn't have to do that. Like that's so nice." And she was like, "I want you to feel welcome and part of the team."
Aw,
Cuz I guess like she buys other people lunch too sometimes. So, that was nice. Um
that's very nice.
I've been learning so much like the last 3 days. So I feel a little overwhelmed, but it's all been pretty good stuff. Um Everybody is super nice.
Well, this is an awkward silence.
Sorry. Um Did you hear what I said?
No.
Okay. Everybody's been super nice. It's just been a lot of information to take in
Mm.
with like how to do everything.
Information overload.
It's pretty easy. It's just remembering. Come on, computer. It's just remembering like where everything goes and how to organize everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all that I do all day is like sorting things.
Fun, fun.
But the pay, though, and not only the pay, but just everything there, like all the benefits and stuff, is just unbelievable.
Well, seems like you like your job so far.
I love it. I would never go back to my old job. So, speaking of which, segue into topic. Um, I guess I could start by talking about my previous job now that I'm free of it.
Yeah.
So, there's really no other way to phrase like how bad this job was. Like it was bottom of the barrel, like dead end job that pays below minimum wage here. and like they would give us nothing. Like no vacation time, like you couldn't take breaks other than lunch, like to stretch and like get up, go to the bathroom, whatever. I heard from an employee that has worked there longer than me. Computer's being stupid. Anyway, I had heard from an employee that worked there longer than I had that they used to not be able to stay clocked in for bathroom breaks. Like you'd have to clock out for bathroom breaks.
That's stupid.
I know. I was like, you're just going for like 2 minutes. Like, why?
That's unfair. If you can't afford to go to the doctor and you have to be at work when you've got a stomach bug.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're super hard on people for taking time off, and like you really have no vacation time. Like basically you can take time off, but like you don't get paid. Like if you don't come into work, you don't get paid. And it's like if you have something going on, like if you have computer's being stupid.
This is the cursed podcast.
If you have like a baby, or you have to go to a funeral or something like that, you'd have to like take no pay basically. So like if you pay bills and rent, you're pretty much screwed.
Hmm. Yeah, that's just stupid.
Hang on, my OBS is not working. Please tell me we didn't lose all of that. Okay. Let me close Telegram real quick. That might help. So, I mean, it's indescribable like how much better this job is from the other one. And I thought it was hilarious that they had brought somebody in like the week that I was leaving to figure out why people were leaving the company and like interviewing everybody. And I'm like, I basically just told them, like, you can't offer people nothing and expect them to stay and work for
Yeah.
peanuts. I mean, that's not how that works.
Yeah, and people wonder why others won't stay at jobs.
Do you want to go next?
Oh boy. Well, I've told you about some of my jobs in the past.
Yeah.
Where to begin? I used to work at a daycare, and it was awful. I would be scheduled to say come in at 10
Yeah.
and work till, I don't know, we'll say 1 or 2, since I was only part time. And
Mhm.
I'd get there, and you don't always know how many kids are going to come in that day.
Yeah.
And then she'd have me stand around for like 30 minutes and then be like, yeah, we don't need you today. So I
Mm.
got to the point where I was just calling, like, do you need me today?
Wow.
Mm hmm. Uh, the room I worked in, it wasn't actually a room. It was like a half wall when you first walk into the daycare.
Mhm.
So when you walk in, if you look to your left, there's like one of those little half windows that open,
Yeah.
and that was to the office and where the check-in computer was. But if you turned your head to the right, it was like the half wall, and that was like the room I was in. So I worked with like 1-year olds,
Mm.
and I hated every minute of it. You could not say no to a child. So a kid would chomp down on their friend, as we call them, and it's like, oh, We shouldn't bite our friends. Here, let's do this instead. While the other kid's screaming in horrible pain with a full set of teeth marks on him.
Mm, maybe he was hungry.
Here's the other thing feeding. Now, with children, you just give them their plate and you hope that they don't throw their food on the ground.
hmm
Easy enough, right? Take kids that may not be able to eat certain things away from the kids that have said things,
hmm
right?
hmm
No. Here, we had, say they were having spaghetti. We had to go, we'd sit a plate in front of each of the kids, and we'd have to hold their hands and hold the bowl and have them serve out their own food. It
What?
was family style.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, most of that food went on the floor.
Well,
I got to the point where I
yeah.
was like, nope, I am just dishing this up. We ain't doing this. These kids are hungry, they are cranky,
I
and they
mean,
don't.
yeah, what did they think was gonna happen?
And then there was one person I worked with. We had 2 children that had cloth diapers.
Mhm.
Now, this sounds weird, but those were the easiest to change, and they were the quickest changes.
Mm.
And each kid would have a little bag that we kept hanging in separate spots for their dirty cloth diapers. Easy, right?
No.
Yeah. This woman, who would lift the children by their arms, by the way,
Hmm.
mhm, the kids would run in fear from her. I found one day when I went to put a kid's diaper in the thing, I got to look, I'm like, "That's not a design this kid's ever had here," because the kid had been in the room forever. You kinda learn what designs their diapers have when they're
hmm
cloth. So I got to looking, and the other bag had no diaper. I looked at the person, and I'm like, "Have you been putting all the diapers in this one bag?" "Yeah, that's where they go." These are 2 separate children.
hmm
So I had to put on gloves, and I had to take these dirty
No.
diapers out and sort them to the
Ew.
proper kids. And she wouldn't even put the cloth diapers on correctly, she'd put them on way too tight, or she'd try to put the kid into a regular diaper because these are just so difficult. I don't know why people use them. They are not that difficult. They are so much harder than people make them out to be.
Mm,
Or people make them out to be harder than what they are. It's
yeah.
like
I could never work with kids. It's the like screaming that gets to me. I just
I
can't.
still have nightmares about going to work at that job. Sometimes they would have me go help out in they're like the lowest was like 4, but it was about 5 and 6-year-olds room. So,
Yeah.
like, those who were, like, the next year, they'd be going to, like, preschool, kindergarten, that kinda stuff.
I still have nightmares about working at Heritage. Or I mean, working at a nursing home. That was terrifying.
Here's the thing, this daycare was not licensed as a Christian or other type of religious daycare.
Yeah.
She would only put out Christian type books for holidays so that kids made sure they knew about God,
Huh.
and would have the teachers that would do the older kids, they had to do prayer before eating.
But it's not like it was just like her. It wasn't like the the daycare itself or
No, she made them in those rooms do that.
that's odd.
Considering we had kids from parents with no religion,
Yeah, like
Jewish,
that's
Hindu, we had a Hindu girl, and the one woman I worked with who the kids were terrified of would give the girl beef.
see, that's just
They're
violating
not
so
supposed
many things.
that's mhm. And that child that had beef was also one of the cloth diaper children.
I'm pretty sure that's violating a law somewhere.
I would tell the kids no. It's like, listen, these kids need to hear it. And I'm not being mean to them.
Mm,
Just kids need to hear the word no.
yeah.
I hated that place so much.
When I worked at the nursing home, honestly I still have nightmares. Literally, I'm not joking about working there because there were days where it felt like an asylum. And I know that I've talked about this before on the channel. I made an entire solo podcast episode about it. So some of you listening might know what I'm referring to, but honestly, that place was just so understaffed and like so outdated that I'm surprised that they're still in business, like still functioning, because they had too many patients or like residents there and not enough staff. So like it was always chaos. And there were times where I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not qualified to do that. Like, I don't have
Mhm.
time to do that. I'm not trying to, you know, take liability for any of this stuff. It was also trippy because, like, I actually knew people that passed away there. Like, when I was working there, we had a couple residents pass away that I had talked to. So like it kind of feels weird, when they do pass away and then it's like, "Oh, I just talked to them like last week." It
Yeah.
it's kind of surreal in that way, but um the pay was not worth it at that job either. I was making like $9 an hour and it was part-time, but I was working more hours than all of the other activity aides. I don't know why, but I was there the most and they would give me the most responsibility out of everybody. Lame.
Yeah.
Would never do it again.
Don't blame you. I worked at a pizza place.
You
It
did?
was very short. I left the daycare to go work at a pizza place that was in the mall. That tells you how short-lived it was.
Are we thinking the same mall?
I think we are.
Go on.
The mall that is not even open anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, this was the mall still had some activity, but it was still pretty dead at the time before it just went completely dead.
Mhm.
So the guy, he ran a place called the Hot Dog Shack. And I was so desperate to leave the daycare that I would pretty much go to him because I walked the mall every day. And I'd be like, so, job. Be like, not today.
That
And I would
sounds
keep,
that sounds like an innuendo. The hot dog shack. Like, "Hey, you want to come to the hot dog shack?"
so
Sorry.
he opened an ice cream place right across from him. So, because the food court had where it was like two sides.
Mhm.
And then, just like a spot and a half down, was in the corner was a pizza place had been there before, and he opened it. So he was like, "All right, today's your lucky day." So I went in and I quit the other job, uh, and he taught me how to work at the pizza place. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. It just kind of sucked because then he opened up the when the he left the mall. Uh, because everything got shut off at the pizza place. I
Mhm.
don't know all the details on that. Uh, I had to go in and clean up it was like a week or 2-week old dough in a 80-degree
Ugh.
uh airtight 80-degree what used to be cooler.
Ew.
Moldy olives.
Was it stinky?
I about puked multiple times.
Ugh.
But I did genuinely enjoy the job because I'd go in, he'd unlock the door, and I'd get everything prepped. I'd get the few pizzas for the day ready. It was great. I pretty much just stood around listening to music. I'd draw a bit. Someone called, or if someone came up there and ordered, I did what needed done.
Oh shit. Tomorrow's 50-cent corn dog day. Sorry.
Nice.
Sonic is having 50-cent corn dog day tomorrow.
I'm guessing you have the app.
Yeah, I need to get some. Anyway, I heard what you were saying. I like jobs like that where you have some like chill time that you could just kind of.
But here's the thing: when he got kicked out of the mall, uh, which that says a lot for them to actually kick someone out.
Yeah.
He opened up, and it wasn't too far from where I lived at the time. And I helped him, like, actually with building and stuff inside there,
Mhm.
getting it ready. And then, like, a month later, he just shut down and skipped town to some other state.
Mm.
I was like, fucking great.
I hate it
My
when
next,
people do that. They just like suddenly leave without like
so,
much notice.
so then I don't learn my job and I work at the mall again.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I've told you about this job. I worked at a boutique.
Oh yeah.
So I was hired on through this hiring place, and basically she decided to keep me. So paperwork was signed. So I would go in. When it was over at Merriam Mall, perfectly fine. I worked X amount of hours. The mall was pretty chill. Like I could close and go get lunch or whatever for like 30 minutes to an hour.
Mhm.
But then she opened over at Carbondale.
Mm.
Well, I was pretty much the only one working. Like, it started off where someone else would come in, or she would, and she'd be there about between 5 and 7 o'clock because she did have her other job.
Mhm.
So I would always be there right before the mall would open. And then once they unlocked the mall door, like, I'd come in and literally it was just come in, relock the gate, go back, turn on the lights and stuff, and just sit.
See, I've never had that working at a mall experience that a lot of teenagers
It's
have.
kind of I'm gonna get into it.
Sure, go for it.
So, well, I keep smacking my mic. So, whenever I'm gonna tell you what it was like having to open at the mall, the the big mall, Carbondale, whatever you want to call it. Anyways,
The biggin.
so yeah, so the ones in Marion, the gate you just put the key in and you held it, and it would automatic, like you just had to hold it till it went up. This
Mhm.
one you had to unlock a latch, lift it up, and then pull it back down and lock it behind you and hope it catches.
Mm.
So you have to like jiggle it a bit. My only light being a flashlight. And I'd
Mm.
walk through the back. Now the back, so where the dressing room was, you'd turn and then you'd walk down, and there was this step on the side because there was shelving all throughout in the back.
Yeah.
But there were dresses hanging up there, so it's like pitch black, and you just feel like you've got stuff staring at you, like
Spooky.
stuff's lined up. And I'd have to flip the main thing to turn on the lights.
It's like running down to the basement and then running back up the stairs.
I would rather do that without a light.
What?
Uh-huh. And then you gotta think, when you're closing up, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta flip that power breaker off, and you're walking back through, and you're coming into the store in pitch black.
And your butt cheeks are clenched.
Pretty much. But it it got to the point where I was there from open to close, so I worked, like, 11 hours a day, and that was for 6 days a week, and then I worked 5.5 on Sunday. So I literally
Aw,
could
you had to
not
work
do
on the
any.
weekend?
I worked every day. This plays a
No.
part.
Mm.
This so, I would do puzzles or I would just draw while I was there, because no one came into the store, and if they did, it didn't really last.
I worked on Saturdays. Actually, no, I worked both days weekends because I had like Wednesday off or something like that when I worked at the nursing home. I hated that. Like, it was only for like 6 hours, but it was so long. Hated that. Side
Mhm.
note.
So, I kept perfect record of the day I worked, how many hours, all that. I was not able to leave for food because if a store closes during the day without reason and food does not count, you get fined.
Aw.
So I would order Chinese food, that always made me sick, or I would order Primo's Pizza, which also made me sick.
Oh man, Primos and I go way back.
But
Making me sick.
the thing is, because you're not supposed, I couldn't close. So I couldn't go put my food up. There was no fridge, no microwave, nothing. So I'd have to sit it underneath the front counter. And
Hmm.
when no one came in the store, I would just have to scarf down a piece or two of pizza or some lo mein noodles, whatever, or lo mein, however you say it.
Hmm.
Not healthy at all. And
That's
I went
that's the
into
thing
work
with like
sick so much.
that's the thing about like eating lunch at jobs. Like, I never know what to eat. When I worked at SIU, I would get like burritos delivered and like primos. I felt so sick afterwards. It's not even funny.
Well, so this
But you
was
gotta
before
eat.
the. Mhm. So I kept perfect record of everything, and I had where she sent me photos of where she had logged my hours, albeit a bit blurry, and where she had even signed on my notebook saying that, yeah, you worked these hours, and text messages confirming.
Hmm.
She just shuts down the store one day
Mm.
without paying me. I
What?
had like 3 months worth of pay not paid.
What the fuck? That's illegal. They can't do that.
It is. Here's the thing. My aunt is a lawyer.
Oh no.
Although she's a divorce lawyer,
I know where this is
she
going.
uh-huh. So she got things going. Then she got a hold of someone she knows, and he was super sweet. And I had to go to court like 4 different times because she would try and give reason for like, "Oh, no, no, we need to move it to another date. We need to put it off."
Mm.
All that, and the judge on the last time looks at me and goes, "Did you have to take off work for this?" "Yes, I did, sir." And he looks at her and's like, "It's been how many months now?" And I forget how many, but it had been like over a year of
Yeah.
basically suing her. And he's like, "And you don't have your stuff together? We're gonna we like took a break and then came back. We like slightly settled. We came up with a payment plan, but also stuff that worked in my favor to where if she did not pay me or missed a payment,
Mhm.
then I was still covered."
Good. That's
And let's
crazy.
just say there was quite a bit of interest. But then my damn car kept breaking down, it took basically all that money.
Oh my gosh, that reminded me of just like speaking of illegal stuff. Um, my coworker was telling me about one of her previous jobs today, and she said that the company got raided like by the police because
Oh, dang.
well, okay, so like she had just left the company like 2 months before, and she said that like somebody that still worked there that she knew and was like in contact with like called her and told her that the place got raided due to like it was bad. She was like they were uh basically I'm trying to remember what she said. They were basically like committing fraud, like
Mm,
saying stuff was done when it wasn't, or like it was backlogged or something like that. But like sh- I mean, it's got to be pretty bad if you get raided by the police like during work. But she said they shut the entire building down and everybody had to like all go into one room. I'm like, dang.
dang.
Yeah, they shut the company down like immediately. It was like, damn, what they do? There was like some, oh, she said that they don't even have an HR department, or they didn't.
Mm,
So like all the employees didn't have, you know, like
y
required
yeah.
by law stuff that HR is supposed to provide. They had like no HR department at all. I'm like, what the hell? Can you even do that? No, apparently not. You get raided.
Eh,
Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
nah, that was pretty well done.
I'm trying to think of like honestly, the last couple jobs that I've worked before this most recent one, I guess. It wasn't that bad, but now that I'm like looking back on it, I'm like honestly, they should have had a pay raise cuz like we weren't allowed to take unpaid or I'm sorry, we weren't allowed to take paid breaks, which is like more common now.
Mhm.
Like especially for big corporations, like I think there might even be something requiring companies to let people take like stretch breaks where you could get up, go to the bathroom, walk around a little bit. But yeah, like all the companies that I've worked for previously, like they didn't let us do that. Like you had to sit in your chair till lunch and then you could leave, but
Hmm.
or if you did go to the bathroom, it had to be like 2 minutes. Like if you were gone longer than 2 minutes. I'm like, what if I have to poop? Then what do I do? Cuz sometimes my poops are like 30 minutes. I'm like, I can't make it in 2. But yeah, it's always been like you feel like they're breathing down your neck, like they're always watching you and you can't do anything. But this is very I will say like this job is there's so much freedom. Like we can have fun, we can, take breaks if we need to. Like they care about us and we're not machines and it's really nice.
Who'd have thought that was possible?
I know, it's like that should be like the standard, I feel. But
The bar is pretty low.
yeah, apparently a lot of companies don't do the stuff that this one does, and I'm just like, why though? Like, it would make people want to stay there, you know? Like, if they had more freedom, they'd want to stay there and not feel
But
like
if they
they need
keep
to
it low
escape.
enough, the turnaround doesn't matter as much, especially if they find a way to uh, keep the costs low and to unload the work of multiple people onto one.
That's the other thing. So, like, my my old boss and I were talking about this, like, it costs the company more money to hire and fire than it would for, to actually hire people that are equipped or like trained to do the job instead of, like having to train new people all the time. Like it costs them money. I don't understand why they don't try and keep people. 'Cause like at my old job, like people wouldn't stay for longer than like 2 years max, maybe 3. But like it was more of a short-term thing, and I don't understand how they can be like expecting people to stay. I mean, I don't know how to put it any other way,
Yeah.
but it even like fast food places like with high turnover, I mean, it's just crazy.
It's nuts.
It's not like sustainable. Like, I don't know. Okay, I'll be honest, I've never actually worked in fast food.
Closest I got was the pizza place, which I wouldn't really call it fast food with how it was.
The closest I ever got was working at a cafe, and it was like a mom and pop shop, but it was very understaffed and very small and enough. It was enough for me to be like, I am not working in food service. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying I'm like above food service. I'm just saying like there are people
No,
who
if
can.
anything, I give them credit for all the shit they put up with and how they can actually do those jobs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have a lot of respect for people that can do food service long term because I could not. I'm not cut out for that.
Nah.
Like,
I would cry with how
yeah,
much people yell.
yeah, I did cry at that job. That was my first ever like actual job,
Mhm.
and yeah, I got let go because like I just couldn't keep up. Like with just how like the pace is so fast and they have to get orders out, and I'm not built that way, I guess. But yeah, I see people working at fast food like managers and stuff that are actually like super professional in the way that they handle stuff, and I'm just like, how do you guys do this? Like have Karens yelling at you all day and be able to handle it professionally. Like that's crazy. But um I'm trying to think. It's not working. I still kind of feel like maybe I got discriminated against when I got let go from that job because it seemed to happen like right after I told my supervisor that I had ADHD.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm not saying that's what it was, but the timing was just odd to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was my first job and I was like 17 at the time, so I didn't really realize that until like looking back on it. But I think that manager got fired shortly after cuz she was stealing from the owners, so
Of course.
she wasn't a very good manager. Um and I don't know. I've had a lot of people tell me like at jobs that I've worked at, and I'm not trying to like, I don't know, toot my own horn or anything, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they like working with me. Like I've always had a positive experience when I leave a company. Like
Mhm.
they usually throw me a party or like give me a card or something. It's always really sweet. And I don't expect it. I mean, they plan it behind my back. But it surprises me because I always feel like I'm hard on myself and I'm not doing as good of a job as everybody else, but like they always tell me Like, oh, we'll miss you and we love you and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, why? But I just try to, do my best and try and work with people, even if I don't like them. I mean, I still try to just get stuff done, work ethic and all that.
Yeah.
It's hard though sometimes. Have you ever worked with anybody that like you could not stand?
So many people like that. Well, there was the woman who would lift the kids by their arms,
Yeah.
uh, and acted like because she was older than me and she was technically qualified as a teacher because she had been to school to that says, "Oh, look at me, I can look at kids and take care of them,"
Mhm.
even though she was terrible at it. And those kind of people looking down on me. It's like, really?
Um,
Uh,
I'm
a lot
thinking
of
too.
people at my job now, it's more not so much like workers as it is clients.
Mm.
Because the last client I had, I dropped because she would put her wheelchair right up to my car,
Yeah.
but then she would turn it, and that little bottom part that pokes out near your wheel
Mhm.
would scrape the paint off in chunks.
Mm.
And then she would grab onto the oh shit handle and use it to lift herself, and she pulled that clean out of the ceiling.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That sucks,
So,
man.
and I had one person, new client, just met them, and she goes, "Are you retarded or something?"
She
You
hard arted you.
and she's like, "You're so stupid."
That's so mean.
I'm just like, "Yeah, at least I got more life ahead of me than you.
Burn.
At least I haven't wasted my life being a bitter old bitch. Instead, I'm just a salty bird."
There was this one guy at the job I was talking about, the cafe job. I wanted to fucking punch him in the face. There was this one day that I came in. It was on a Saturday. I got um scheduled for a Saturday, and we were doing like breakfast in the morning cuz I guess they like switch out like breakfast and lunch items throughout the day or whatever. And this guy, he was not much older than me, and he had been working there a bit longer than me. And I came in and I was like trying to keep up with everybody, and I was trying to like put the dishes away and like get everything ready, and I was just like sweating cuz it's freaking hot in a kitchen. If you've ever worked in a kitchen, you know what I'm talking about. But um so I was just trying to do my best, and I was getting frustrated because nobody was communicating with me like what we need to do.
Mhm.
And this guy was like standing there like watching me run around try to figure out what to do, and he's like, if you can't take this, you should just leave. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm trying to get direction from my manager to figure out what the hell we're doing. And
Who
like
pissed
he's
in his Cheerios?
it's like he saw that I was getting frustrated and like I was sweating my ass off, and he's just like, if you can't take the heat, you shouldn't work here or whatever. I don't It was stupid. It was probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard a person say. And I was just like, I think I just yelled at him. I was like, I'm trying. And he was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, bitch. I'll take you down to the basement and we'll talk about this. But I just can't stand like people that just want to make your job harder, you know?
Yeah.
Just it's just those like snide comments. Like I don't need that. Like I'm trying my best, you know. I'm not good at food service. And just to have somebody like just staring at you while you're trying to work and say something like that, who's an employee, you know,
Yeah.
it's just really, dude, like that should have just been a thought and not have come out of your mouth. But I don't miss working there at all.
Couldn't tell.
On my last day, when I did get let go, though, I did cry on my way to the car. I was walking, like, on the sidewalk with my last paycheck in hand, and I was, like, crying. Because
Oh.
it was my first job, and my dad helped me get it, and I was like, oh, I let down the whole family, and, like, everybody's gonna be mad at me, and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I was 17. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Now, I'd be like, fuck this shit. I'm getting out of here and finding another job. I don't care. I don't need this. You people suck. But I just think that's funny.
It's weird how we change as people.
Oh, I know. Like, me as an adult is so different from how I was when I was a kid. Even a teenager. Like, teenage me was very different. I used to be just really like gullible and naive about everything. And now that I'm older, I'm just like I don't take shit off of nobody. I don't trust anybody, I'll tell you that. I used to be like pretty trusting of other people, but my life experiences, man, like I'm paranoid all the time. I don't trust anybody. I don't care what anybody says. Don't fuck with me. But it's probably why I have trouble making friends because I can't like open up to people. It takes a long time for me to do that. But I know you know how that is.
Yeah. I also just have a deep seated hatred of people. So
I just don't understand people.
stop trying to understand them. That'll help a lot.
Yeah, I've reached that point in my life. But I think like going forward, I honestly would like to stay at this job for maybe even the next 5 years, possibly. Um, it's got everything that I wanted and needed, and I really feel like it's also a good social environment for me because before in my last job, we didn't really talk like to our team. We kind of just all like sat at our desks and we weren't like facing each other. So I would just pop in a podcast on my phone or whatever, but I really
Mm.
got tired of that. Like, I love podcasts and I love listening to YouTube videos, but like, it kind of messes with your mental health after a while, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I had done it for almost 2 years. Same routine of just listening to like true crime and stuff, and I think it really like messed me up mentally. Um, but I like how at this job like everybody's pretty like open and social and like they involve me in the conversation and ask me about like, you know, what kind of music do you like? What's your favorite food? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like people care about me. I'm not just in the corner creeping.
Oh, but that's the best place to be creeping.
I love my desk. I get my own desk and I'm gonna like decorate it. I gotta go to Five Below this weekend and get some stuff for my desk. I'm excited.
Nice.
I want to get like a little Zen garden and like some magnets for my whiteboard and cute stuff for my desk.
Well, Five Below definitely has stuff you'll be able to get for it.
My home away from home. I actually asked them if I could get like a desk aquarium,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, the only reason I can't is because they have limited outlets, like in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So like they don't want to like use up more power
Then necessary.
than
Yeah.
necessary. But they would let me if that wasn't a factor. So
I
cuz
mean,
it
at least that's a good reason.
yeah, like I totally understand that cuz like a fish tank has like 4 plugs. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. But maybe I could get like a paperweight with fish in it or something. Like a desk toy.
Yeah.
I should look on Etsy. They probably got stuff.
Yeah, you'll just have to spend an arm and a leg.
Well, I might be able to drop an arm and a leg soon. I'd drop one for you.
Fair enough. Yeah, you'll finally have that shark pencil holder.
Yes, I haven't forgotten. It's on my to-do list. And actually, once you make it, I think I'm going to take it to work
Awesome.
and put it on my desk cuz I have like a bunch of pens I could put in it.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyways, we should probably wrap this up. Did you have anything else you wanted to share? Crappy jobs?
Jobs suck, and I just want to go live in a cottage in the woods and be known as the evil witch that lives on the outskirts of town. But sadly, things cost money.
Isn't that pretty much what Ree is doing?
Yeah, as I said that, I was like, wait, that's just
That sounds
Ree.
a lot like Ree or maybe Vesper.
Damn, they took it from me.
So, I have just a little bit of advice I wanted to share before we wrap this up. Um, I know, like, in this day and age, like, job market stuff is hard to gauge. It's hard to, like, find an area that has what you're looking for and, like, what you need. But, like, I don't want anybody to ever feel like you're absolutely stuck in one place at a job. Like, I just, I don't know. I personally believe that you can always find a way to, like, find another job somewhere else. Even if that means moving, like, cities or, for me, states. I mean, I literally had to, like, move out of Illinois to find a job because, like, there just was nothing for me there, and I'm fortunate enough that I, was able to do that and find a really good job here. But like sometimes you have to, go with the crappy job for a little bit, but it's always to like gain experience and work up to the next thing. But dead end jobs, man, like, don't feel like you have to stay. Like, ask for help. There's even like temp agencies. If any of you don't know what that is, it's basically like an agency that helps you find a job somewhere else to get you to the next step, and I highly recommend doing that. I actually had to do that myself. And it doesn't matter, like, if you don't have a degree, if you do have a degree, they can still like help you find jobs for better, decent pay, I would say, like, just in my experience. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that is like, there's always something better out there. It's just finding it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.